Hello everyone. In this video, we're going to go over step-by-step how to publish your first book on Amazon KDP. Now, if you don't have an Amazon KDP, you want to go to kdp.amazon.com. As you can see on the screen, there we are here, and click on Join KDP. KDP is absolutely free to join, and you can get this set up in the next few minutes while you are downloading your book. Now, once you have your KDP account, uploading step-by-step is actually one of the easier pieces of the publishing process, and it can be a little bit daunting if this is the first time that you're doing it, so that is why we are creating this video. I'm going to move this out of the way, and we will actually get started step by step uploading a book to Amazon so that it's live for the millions of customers that are shopping on the platform. Now, as you can see here, we have our test project, which we are going to be using. The very first thing you want to do is make sure once your book is complete that you come to download and you download your current project. This is going to download as a zip file, which is going to contain both your cover and your interior in a zip file, which you can then right click and extract to have the PDFs ready to upload to Amazon. It's important that you download it as a CMYK, which is a color set, which is what the Amazon printers will print. So once that's done and you have set up your KDP account, I'm going to pop over to here. This is what you will see. There's not anything in your KDP account. You have it all set up and you are ready to upload. So let's go through the process step by step. Very first thing you want to do is click on Create. Now the Create button is going to take you to a page that looks like this. It's going to ask you what you'd like to create. You can create ebooks, paperbacks, hardcovers, series pages, Kindle Vellas, but it's very important to realize that what you select on this page needs to match up exactly with what you created inside of the BookBolt Studio. Now, because we're creating low-content books, these are going to be physical products that actually show up in the mail to the purchasing customer, which means we will not be selecting a Kindle ebook today. Remember, it's going to be exactly what you selected inside of the studio, and in order to see that, you can see that in the very bottom menu here. So this particular book is a 6x9 book. It is 100 pages. It is bleed, and it is paperback. So we're going to go ahead, go back inside of KDP, and we're going to select that we want to create a paperback. You must match these up with what you created in the studio. So let's go ahead and click on Create Paperback. Now, once we are on this page, the uploading process is actually 3 different tabs. We need to select paperback details, we need to upload the paperback content, and then finally we're going to select the rights and pricing. Now, while you can see that this is 3 tabs and it might be a little daunting to get started, this is actually one of the easier parts of the actual book creation and publishing process. So let's go ahead line by line and go through this. The very first thing is you need to select a primary language for your book. Amazon.com is the US marketplace and is by far the largest marketplace that you are going to see sales on, so we're going to leave that at default by English. Now, the next step is the book title. Now, the book title needs to be exactly what is on your book cover. It actually tells you that right here. Enter the title as it appears on the book cover. Now, the book cover itself is going to be the title, but the subtitle can actually be anything related to the product you are selling. So just as a refresher, let's go back inside the studio here. You can see that this just says Composition Notebook, and it is a bug-related journal. So we're going to come over here, and for the book title, we're going to type in exactly what's on the cover. So we're going to type in Composition Notebook. And then for the subtitle, remember, this is going to be keywords related to what you are selling. I like to make sure that this is actually readable so that the actual product, when it comes together, looks cohesive. So for this example, we can say a college-ruled line journal for bug lovers and insect hunters. Something simple that makes sense and is readable. So the entire book is going to say Composition Notebook, a college-ruled line journal for bug lovers and insect hunters. So notice how that is, you're not repeating any of the keywords here, so notebook is not being repeated in the subtitle, you don't have line journal in the book title, etc. So this all works really well together. The next part here is a series. Now you can see that this is optional, and we will not be doing a series. Almost all of the books that you are going to be published do not need a series, so you can ignore this and leave it blank. Same for edition numbers. It tells the readers whether the book is an original or updated version. So we're publishing this for the very first time, and you can leave this blank. Now we get to the author section. It's going to have a spot for prefix, first name, middle name, last name, and suffix. A lot of first-time KDP sellers want to put in their first and last name. Remember, the first and last name is going to be combined to create the actual author of your book. Can you use your first and last name? You absolutely can, but you don't need to. You can actually use any name that you want that sounds like a brand. So for this book, let's not use our first and last name. Let's come up with something that will actually be combined to complete our brand. So we have a composition notebook, so maybe this is going to be, so for the first name, we will put in Bugs, and for the last name, we'll put in Printing Press. So this will be combined on Amazon, so the brand name will read as Bugs Printing Press. So we are good to go there. You can leave the prefix, middle name, and suffix off. And that's really all there is to do there. Now, if you're publishing more than one book that are related, I do recommend keeping these under the same brand name each and every time that you publish. But if you have things that are completely different from each other, absolutely come up with a different author name here. Next, we have contributors. You can add up to 9, but you probably created this book yourself, so there's no need to add any contributors. Now, for the description of your book, this is a great way to tell your readers or the people who have stumbled across your product on Amazon what it is they will actually be purchasing. I really like to make sure that this section is formatted correctly and keep it simple. No one wants to go to a product and read a very, very long description here. So something that describes what the book is, why they want the book, and what is inside is super helpful. So a description would go here. Make sure to format it using the bold, the italicized, the underline, bullet points, etc. It's really, really easy to do and you play around with it. But my biggest recommendation is keep it short. Tell them what they will be getting, how many pages are in your book, etc. So just a few lines of text in the description right here. You can go up to 4,000 characters, but most people on Amazon are not going to read that. So just a few lines of text right here. Keep it simple. The next thing you need to select is the publishing rights. Now, this is not a public domain because you actually just created this inside of the studio, so you will be selecting I own the copyright and I hold necessary publishing rights. They do have a little bit of a drop down here. Choose this option if your book is under copyright and you hold the necessary rights. Since you just created it and it is just simply lined pages, that is what you're going to be picking almost each and every time. Now we get down here to primary audience. This is very important because it's going to allow you to select a reading age and if your book is sexually explicit or not. So you read through this very, very carefully because Amazon is going to put this on your actual page for your product once it goes live. So does the book's cover or interior contain sexually explicit images, or does the book's title contain sexually explicit language? We're doing a simple lined notebook here, so no, it does not. And then reading age is optional. If you think that your book is for everyone, you want it to show up across Amazon, and it doesn't fall into a specific age range that you're trying to rank for, I would simply leave this blank. But as you can see with the drop-down menu, they do have a minimum and a maximum age. I'm going to leave this blank for now because it literally is a lined book. The next section is primary marketplace. And you'll notice there's a lot of sections here, but once you are comfortable with the process, this goes very, very fast. But the primary marketplace, I'm always going to leave this as Amazon.com unless I have changed the language on the front of my book or the inside of my book, because Amazon.com is the US marketplace where the majority of the sales will occur. The next section is categories. So choose up to 3 categories that describe your book. It's very important here that you select categories that are relevant to what you are selling. Now, the easiest way to find these, because if you click on choose categories, this is a little bit dated. Going through here, looking through all of the subcategories, etc., can take quite a bit of time. So what I would suggest instead is if you go inside of BookBolt and on the left-hand menu, you'll click on KDP categories, which will open up this, and you can enter in keywords. Now, don't enter the name of your book. Enter something that is very, very broad. In this case, we're doing a line composition book that it relates to bugs and insects. You can see I just clicked on insects, clicked on search, and now I have some categories that I can find that are relevant to what I am selling. So craft, hobbies and home, pet and animal care, insects and spiders, science and math, nature and ecology, fauna, insects and spiders. So I know exactly where to find these. So for example, let's look for this one, science and math, nature and ecology, fauna and insects and spiders. We'll come in here, choose category. The first one was science and math, so we're going to use the category. We are going to find science and math, so we'll scroll down here, science and math, and then right here we will have some different checkboxes that we can use. We are not going to select any of those. Instead, we're going to use the subcategory. So we are now looking for, we come back over here, nature and ecology. So we'll come down here and we will find nature and ecology, and then the next subcategory, fauna. So come back over here, fauna, and then the next subcategory, we can actually pick which one here if we don't see another subcategory. So in this case, it's insects and spiders. We'd come over here and select insects and spiders, and there you will have your one category, the very long tree, instead of taking hours to go through this process. So go ahead and find up to 3 categories that are relevant to what you are selling. If it's not relevant, do not add it to your book, because it's not going to help you rank and see the sales on Amazon that you're hoping to have. So make sure to go through this. I'm not going to continue going through this. We'll just save the changes and we have a single one. But it's very important that you pick as many as you can that are relevant up to 3. Now it's going to ask you, does your book classify as any of these types? Choose all that apply. Is it a low content or is it a large printed book? So if we aren't using 16-point or larger font in size, do not select this checkbox. But for the majority of the books that you will be publishing, you do need to select the low content book option. Okay, so if you click on this dropdown, it's going to tell you what a low content book is. If you are creating a puzzle book, an activity book, or a coloring book, these are not considered low content in the eyes of Amazon, but everything else you will be creating is going to be a low content book, so make sure to check this box. Finally, we get to the keyword section. These keywords are the most important part of the publishing process. Why? Because this is going to be keywords that are used in the back end. So people on Amazon finding your book will never see what you type here, but this is going to help Amazon match up the keywords that you put here with what the customer is looking for. They're trying to match up the product that you created with what the customer is searching for. So you can read this. It says choose up to 7 keywords highlighting your book's unique traits. Keywords are typically short phrases up to 50 characters that customers use to narrow their book search on Amazon. So what a lot of first-time publishers do is they will enter one keyword, one keyword, one keyword, one keyword, but they don't read this where it says that they're typically short phrases. Okay, so you don't need to enter in just a single keyword that isn't really helping, and at the same time, you don't need to use any punctuation because Amazon is smart enough. So let's go through very quickly how I like to fill these out. There's 7 keyword boxes here. So keywords 1 and 2 are going to be keywords related to the market. Essentially, okay, so 1 and 2, who is the buyer for this type of book? Okay, so keywords related to the market. Who is the buyer? This is where I like to put in keyword boxes 1 and 2. Again, they can be phrases, they can be keyword, keyword, keyword. No punctuation is needed, but go through the research of this and figure out what are the keywords related to this specific market. It's your very first time going through this and you want a little bit more information. I could go through a lot more in this video, but we're just trying to get through the uploading process. So if you go inside of BookBolt and you click on the live calls button in the top of the page, at the very bottom are 2 long seminars. So one's a couple hours long, the other one is about an hour, and it's going to help you go through this process with the research that you've done. Don't just come up with these off the top of your head. So very important. Keyword boxes 3 and 4 are keywords related to the product itself. Essentially, okay, what we want to put in here is what type of book are you actually selling? Is this a notebook? Is this a line journal? Is this a composition book? So all of those keywords you want to put back here. Think like a potential customer. What would they be using to find that specific type of product? That's what I like to put in boxes 3 and 4. Box 5, I like to use for all of the description keywords. So essentially, instead of putting the keyword gift, gift for mom, gag gift, white elephant, etc., I like to put all of those inside of keyword box 5 because it's not going to show up to the customer, but it will help your product match up with customer queries if they're on Amazon looking for that type of thing. Now, keyword boxes 6 and 7, these are keywords related to the niche itself. Okay, so what terms would someone in this niche use? Entomologist, for example, right? We are doing a bug insect related book. Those are the type of keywords that you want to put in boxes 6 and 7. Now keep in mind, you need to fill up all of these. There's 50 characters each. Absolutely not. But remember, everything you put in the backend keywords here needs to be relevant to what you are selling. So take the time to go through your research that you did first before you created the product to enter in the 7 keyword boxes here. So that's probably the most difficult and time-consuming part of this process, but really it's not that hard if you've done the research previously. Next, we need to select a publication date. Okay, so we are going to keep this publication date and release date are the same, so we're not even going to touch that. Release date. Okay, so scheduled releases are not available for some titles, etc. So you're always going to be selecting release my book for sale now. They say it can take 72 hours to go live. A lot of the times it's a lot faster. It could be a little bit longer, but this really is not going to affect your book going live. So it will release as soon as Amazon goes through the publishing process, verifies your book, and then puts it for sale. So that's the first tab here, and then we're going to go ahead and click Save and Continue. All right, so you see Save Successful, and now we are onto the paperback content. So it's going to ask Print ISBN. Okay, so we're going to publish without an ISBN. You do not need to use your own because you selected the low content box. So you selected the low content box, you can publish on Amazon without putting an ISBN on your book. Now we get to the print options. This is where a lot of first-time KDP sellers make a mistake. Everything right here needs to match up exactly with what you selected when you created your book inside of the studio. Okay, so print options. You need to select an ink and paper type. There's a lot of different options here, but if we go back inside of the BookBolt Studio, we click on project right here, you can see it's 6x9, it's 100 pages, it's bleed, it's black and white paper, and it's paperback. Let's go back inside of KDP. This is black and white paper. Okay, so that is selected. We need to make sure we are mixing and matching here. So this is selected. It's a 6x9 book. Where do we get that? You can see it in the project menu, or you can see it in the bottom menu. It is a 6x9 book. So we're going to make sure that's selected. Bleed settings. Okay, so choose bleed if you have images or illustrated, so on and so forth. This is automatically selected as no bleed, but inside of the studio here, what do we see? We see that it is bleed. We're going to come back to KDP and we're going to select bleed. And then paperback cover finish, matte or glossy. This option right here is the only one you do not have to match. This is personal preference. It's going to be the type of paper that they printed on or the feel of the front and back cover. I personally like matte, but glossy is also very, very nice. So either one of these you can select and your book will turn out great. Next, we have the manuscript. This is going to be the interior of your book. Okay, the manuscript and the book cover. The manuscript, this is pretty simple. When you downloaded your book and you extracted it, you're going to upload the PDF for the manuscript, and the book cover, you have your own book cover already because you created it inside of the studio. So we're going to select upload a cover you already have. And does your cover include a barcode? If left unchecked, we'll add a barcode for you. When you create your things inside of the studio, there's not going to be a barcode there, so you will simply leave this unchecked. So I'm going to go ahead and upload both my manuscript and my cover file. We're going to give it a few minutes to upload here, and then we will continue. You see, we are uploading here. This process can take a little bit of time, especially if things are a little bit big. So you'll see that I uploaded the cover first successfully, and it processes the file in the background, and I just selected upload the manuscript. So this process can take a little bit of time here. We're going to give it a minute to upload, and then we're going to continue going through this uploading process. All right, so you can see that I've just uploaded the manuscript, and it's now processing the file. It will do this in the background, so let's continue going through. Down here, we have the next box, which is AI-generated content. Amazon's collecting information about the use of artificial intelligence tools in creating content. Did you use AI tools in creating text, images, or translations for your book? It's very important that you actually put in here, did you actually use AI content? Remember, you need to be, genuine in what you are uploading. So if you did, you want to select yes, and it's going to ask you what you used. Text, did you use none? Some sections with minimal editing, images, translations, etc. Now, anything that you create inside of the BookBolt Studio itself without bringing in is not going to be AI-generated content, so we are going to select no. If you use any AI-generated content, you want to select yes and go through the options. But for this example, you can see this book. It is lined pages. We created this beforehand for this video, so we're going to go ahead and select no. And now you're going to have Launch Previewer, okay? So preview your book. This is going to give me a little error. It says, it looks like you've made some changes to the manuscript of your book. Please preview and approve these changes before continuing. Okay, so if we scroll up here, it's still processing our file. If we refresh this page, we will see if it has been completed. We're going to select no again, and it's still processing the file. If we click on Launch Preview here, it's going to click Save, and you will see this process can take a bit of time. It's going to tell you in a minute here to go grab some coffee and wait. This does take a bit of time. Once it's done, we will be able to see in the book previewer exactly what the finished product will look like. So I'm once again going to give this a few minutes to finish up here, and then we will finish the last page. All right, and just like that, it has finished so that we can go through the quality check. If there's any issues with your book, it will show in the left-hand menu here with examples on which page you need to fix. But since we made sure to match everything up from the studio to uploading to KDP, you'll notice that there is not any issues here, and they've automatically put the barcode here. So we can go through, we see the front cover, we see the back cover, we can click through and look exactly what this book will look like when it is published. So very, very, very simple book. If everything looks good to you, simply click on the approve button in the bottom right, and this is going to bring us to the last page of the KDP upload process. So we'll see that we've finished paperback details, paperback content. We'll scroll down because everything has been approved. It's going to show you the printing cost. Now, this is not going to charge you anything. This is going to be their cost when something sells, and then you're going to get paid a royalty. So let's go ahead and save and continue, and we will finally land on that last page here. Now, on this last page, this is the paperback rights and pricing page. So where do we want to sell this book? Worldwide rights or individual territories. If you select individual territories, you can go through and notice, wow, there's a lot of them. 249 as of this recording. I always just keep this on all territories because we want the widest reach that we can have. We have the primary marketplace already set. We did that previously. And then we get to the pricing, royalties, and distribution. You have a place to enter in a list price. Now, the list price should be based on your research that you did before you created the book. If every other book in the niche is priced at $6.99, it doesn't make sense to come in here with a $20 price point, because even if your book gets visibility, no one's going to buy it. So make sure that you are pricing, at where the competition is, or maybe a little bit below. So for this example, I'm just going to type in to the primary marketplace here, Amazon.com, $6.99. And you will see it's going to calculate exactly what kind of royalty that you are going to get. So if we sell a book, Amazon's going to charge a $2.30 printing cost. Again, they're not going to charge you that personally, but you will get a $1.89 royalty. So when book sales start flowing in, this drastically adds up because there's no work that you have to do. Amazon will print and ship and deal with customer service. And you'll also notice that it has taken the price that we entered in the primary marketplace and applied this to the specific pricing for the other marketplaces, the UK, Germany, France, Spain, Italy, so on and so forth. There is a lot of different options here. Now, finally, we have expanded distribution, okay? If we click over this, enrolling in expanded distribution means large distributors may add your book to their catalog, online retailers outside of Amazon, libraries, universities, and booksellers. Don't select this if you are doing a low-content book, which you probably are doing, because low-content books will not go into expanded distribution, so there's no need to pay attention to this right-hand column. All you want to keep in mind is what royalty you are getting and making sure that the pricing is in line with the research that you did. So that's all you have to do here. We're going to scroll down. You'll see the terms and conditions. It can take up to 72 hours for your book to be available for purchase on Amazon. Keep in mind, this says 72 hours. could be shorter. Sometimes your books will go live within a few hours of clicking publish your paperback book. Other times it can take longer. Okay, that is very, very normal, and in that case, you will just have to practice a bit of patience, but it will eventually go live. If it doesn't go live and your book is in draft in your bookshelf, make sure to check your email, but all things considered, nothing you need to do here. You can request a book proof, so get a printed preview of your book before it goes live. I would suggest not doing this. These are a lot slower to print and ship to you. It does cost a little bit of money. So you can ignore this and your book will go live on Amazon. You can purchase your own books from Amazon, wait up to 72 hours. You may need to wait a little bit longer, but that is the process. You would simply click publish your paperback book and sit back and keep working on your business. A lot of people will publish their first book and then just wait and do nothing in the meantime, right? So there's a lot of things that you can do, but that is going to be the process. You have paperback details, paperback content, and paperback rights and pricing. I know this video is getting a little bit long, but once you get comfortable with this process, you should be able to bang out these books in just a few minutes if you did your research prior. Very, very easy to do. There's no need to get worried about this. You can reference this video at any time. Once you're done, publish your paperback book, and you are complete. So that's going to be all for this video. If you guys have any questions, concerns, comments, drop them down below. If not, I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks.